Picture this. You've given everything, your time, your love, your unwavering loyalty, to someone who, over time, has come to see it as their right, not your gift. The gratitude fades, replaced by an assumption that you'll always be there, no matter how you're treated. You've spoken your heart, pleaded to be seen, and still, nothing changes. Now, imagine this instead. One day, you decide to stop trying, not with more words or heated arguments, but with quiet strength. You simply walk away. No drama, no explanation, no long goodbye. Suddenly, the person who took you for granted finds themselves standing in the empty space you used to fill. They can't reach you. Your silence speaks louder than any words ever could. Here's the truth no one tells you. Stepping away doesn't just remove your presence, it creates a void. In that void, they're left alone with their thoughts, and that's when the questions begin. Where did they go? What did I do wrong? Why do I feel this way? This silence doesn't just make them miss you, it forces them to face the reality of what they've lost. This isn't about being cruel or cutting someone off out of spite. It's a deliberate choice, a disciplined act of reclaiming your power and self-respect. It's a strategy as timeless as the teachings of Marcus Aurelius, who said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." To truly be one means to rise above the chaos, to step back, and to let your absence deliver the message. Welcome to the Stoic Spirit, where we combine the deep wisdom of Stoicism with sharp psychological insights to help you transform your mindset and reclaim your life. Today, we're exploring the art of silence, not as a petty reaction, but as a powerful tool for self-respect and growth. This is what we call intentional detachment. Think about it. People only realize the value of something once it's no longer there. This principle of scarcity makes absence far more powerful than presence. By stepping away, you don't just leave. You become rare, unforgettable, and irreplaceable. But here's the key. This only works if you have the strength to walk away and truly stay gone. That's where your real power lies. Over the next few minutes, we'll dive into why silence is more impactful than confrontation, how absence triggers emotions like regret and longing, and how this approach can help you not only teach others a lesson, but also become the strongest version of yourself. So let's begin right now. Take a moment and declare your power. Drop a comment below saying, "My silence is my strength." Let's claim this together. And if you're ready to reclaim your energy, self-respect, and peace, hit that like button. It's your first step toward mastering the art of detachment and becoming unshakable. Let's start this journey together. Number 1. Why absence speaks louder than words. Silence isn't just the absence of sound, it's a deliberate choice, a powerful tool that speaks volumes without uttering a single word. And here's the beauty of it. Silence doesn't argue, doesn't defend, and doesn't beg for understanding. It simply is. That's what makes it so impactful. While words can be debated, ignored, or misinterpreted, silence leaves no room for denial. It forces the other person to face the void and fill in the blanks themselves. And often, their own imagination becomes far more relentless than anything you could have said. The Stoics knew this truth well. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment." By choosing silence, you revoke your participation in someone else's chaos. You stop feeding into their drama, stop validating their behavior, and instead reclaim control over your own mind and emotions. Modern psychology backs this up. It's called the principle of scarcity. Humans are wired to value what's rare. When you're always there, always available, your presence becomes easy to take for granted. But when you remove yourself, you create scarcity, and scarcity breeds desire. Think about it. The less they see you, the more they think about you. The less they hear from you, the more they miss you. Your absence becomes a presence so loud, it's impossible to ignore. Now consider this scenario. When someone disrespects you, what's the usual response? Most people argue, defend themselves, or try desperately to prove their worth. But in doing so, they give away their power. They allow the other person to control their emotions. But what happens when you go silent? The dynamic shifts entirely. Instead of chasing validation, you become the one who is chased. Your silence forces the other person to confront themselves, their actions, their assumptions, their treatment of you. And here's where the transformation begins. In silence, you communicate strength. You show that you don't need their approval, their validation, or even their presence to feel complete. That's a message they can't ignore, and it's one they'll struggle to forget. But let's be honest, this isn't easy. Silence demands discipline. It requires patience and an unwavering belief in your own worth. The Stoics called this ataraxia, a state of inner peace. It's the ability to remain calm and unshaken, no matter what storms rage around you. When you cultivate this inner peace, your silence becomes a fortress, strong, unbreakable, and undeniably powerful. You no longer need to explain yourself, argue your value, or seek approval. You stand firm, rooted in the knowledge of your worth. So, before we go further, take a moment to let this sink in. Silence speaks louder than words because it forces others to listen to themselves. If this idea resonates with you, drop a comment below that says, "My silence is my strength." Let's make this commitment together. And if this is adding value to your journey, don't forget to hit that like button. It's a small act that sets the tone for reclaiming your power. Now, let's dive deeper. Let's uncover the psychology behind why silence, particularly the act of stepping away, often called ghosting, is such a potent strategy. This isn't about being cruel or manipulative. It's about reclaiming your energy, setting boundaries, and teaching others to value what they've lost. When you step away, you're not just removing yourself. You're creating space for growth. You're giving yourself the freedom to focus on what truly matters: your peace, your self-respect, and your personal evolution. And for the other person, that silence becomes a mirror. They're left to sit with their own thoughts, to confront the reality of losing you, and to reflect on what they could have done differently. This is where your power lies, in knowing when to walk away, in staying true to yourself, and in letting your absence say what words never could. Silence isn't empty, it's full of power. Let's own that power together. Number 2. The psychological impact of ghosting. Silence doesn't just make a statement, it creates a ripple effect that resonates deeply within the human psyche. When you choose to step away, to disengage, to ghost someone, you tap into one of the most basic aspects of human behavior: the fear of loss. Humans have a peculiar way of noticing things more when they're gone. It's called the scarcity principle, a psychological truth that says we place higher value on what's no longer readily available. When you stop replying to their messages, stop answering their calls, and step away from their games, a profound shift takes place. They're left with an unfamiliar emptiness, a void where your presence used to be. And in that emptiness, they begin to reflect. They replay conversations, analyze interactions, and dissect their mistakes, searching for answers. The longer the silence stretches, the louder their inner thoughts become. Did I mess up? Did they lose interest? Are they gone for good? This is the brilliance of silence. It turns the spotlight inward, forcing them to face their own actions and assumptions. You're no longer giving away your energy, reacting to their behavior, or explaining your worth. Instead, they're left alone with their thoughts, their regrets, and the undeniable weight of your absence. Modern psychology explains why this works so well. The scarcity principle tells us that when something is no longer accessible, it becomes more desirable. Think about it. When you see limited edition on a product, doesn't it suddenly seem more appealing? The same applies to relationships. When you pull back, you transform from someone they assumed would always be there into someone they can't reach, someone they now long for. They'll start to notice the little things they once overlooked, the messages they ignored, the kindness they took for granted. Your absence makes those moments stand out, painting you as rare, valuable, and unforgettable. But ghosting goes beyond scarcity. It stirs their ego and curiosity. Questions flood their mind. Why did they leave? Was it something I did? Did they find someone better? The lack of closure gnaws at them, creating a discomfort they can't ignore. Your silence becomes more than just a withdrawal. It's a mirror reflecting their insecurities, their mistakes, and their missed opportunities. And here's the key. This isn't about being cruel or playing games. It's about choosing your peace over chaos. The Stoics understood this deeply. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "It is in your power to withdraw yourself whenever you desire. Tranquility within consists in the good ordering of the mind." Ghosting, when done with intention, isn't about hurting someone. It's about protecting your peace. It's about saying, I choose not to engage in what disrupts my harmony. So while they wrestle with questions, regrets, and what-ifs, what are you doing? You're reclaiming your power. You're no longer chasing after validation, explaining your worth, or trying to fix what isn't yours to fix. You've stepped away, confident and self-assured, leaving a lasting impact without uttering a single word. Now, take a moment to embrace this truth. Your silence is your strength. Comment below, "My silence is my control," and let's claim this together. And if this resonates with you, show your commitment by hitting that like button. It's a small step towards stepping fully into your power. Now, let's dive into the Stoic principles that can help you master your emotions and navigate this process with grace and clarity. Number 3. Stoic principles on controlling emotions. Here's a tough truth to swallow. Ghosting only works if you have the emotional strength to walk away and stay away. Without mastering your emotions, you risk breaking the silence, giving in to the temptation to reach out, explain yourself, or seek closure. When that happens, all the progress you've made unravels. This is where Stoic philosophy becomes your greatest ally. The Stoics believed that true power lies within, in mastering your thoughts and emotions. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most revered Stoic philosophers, wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." What does this mean? It means that no matter how others behave or what they say, The ultimate control over how you respond is yours. And sometimes the strongest reaction is no reaction at all. Think about it. When someone disrespects you or takes you for granted, your first instinct might be to lash out, explain yourself, or demand recognition. But what happens when you act on that impulse? You're handing over your power. You're letting their actions dictate your emotions and in turn your peace of mind. That's not strength, it's surrender. The Stoics teach us that true freedom comes from emotional detachment. As Epictetus famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." By stepping away, you're not just walking away from a person, you're walking away from the chaos they bring into your life. You're choosing not to let their behavior disturb your inner peace. That choice? It's a profound act of strength. Here's where Stoic wisdom meets the principles of modern psychology. When you stay silent, you're doing more than preserving your peace. You're sending a message. Your silence declares, "I am in control. I don't need your validation, your attention, or your approval. My worth is not defined by your actions." This unspoken message carries more weight than any argument ever could. But let's be real. Controlling your emotions is far from easy. There will be moments when you feel the pull to reach out, to explain your side, or to seek closure. When those moments come, remind yourself, your silence is a test of your discipline. Each time you resist the urge to engage, you're strengthening your emotional resilience. You're proving to yourself and to them that you're above reacting to every slight or insult. You're reclaiming your power, one moment of restraint at a time. So, how do you stay disciplined? The Stoics offer a simple yet powerful answer. Focus on what you can control. You can't control how someone feels about you or what they think of you, but you can control your response. You can choose to shift your energy from what you've lost to what you're building, your peace, your growth, and your strength. Take a moment right now to affirm this truth. I control my emotions, they don't control me. Let this become your mantra, your reminder that you hold the reins of your inner world, no matter what storms rage around you. Drop a comment below with these words. I control my emotions, they don't control me. Let's declare this together. And if you're feeling the power of this mindset, hit that like button. It's a simple yet profound step toward mastering emotional discipline and reclaiming your peace. Now, let's move forward and explore how embracing absence can transform not just your relationships, but your entire sense of self. Number 4, reclaiming power through absence. Absence isn't just about walking away, it's about taking back what has always been yours, your power, your peace, and your self-respect. When you step away, you're not merely disappearing, you're sending a message, loud and clear. I am no longer available to anyone who doesn't value me. That shift, it's transformational. Here's the reality. When you're constantly present, always giving, always available, you unintentionally dilute your value. Being overly accessible makes it easy for others to overlook your worth. But when you step back, you create a noticeable void. And in that void, something powerful happens. Your absence forces the other person to experience life without you. It's in that emptiness that emotions like regret, longing, and reflection take root. This shift is grounded in two key psychological principles: scarcity and boundaries. Let's start with scarcity. People instinctively place greater value on what they can't easily have. When you pull away, you become rare, suddenly out of reach, no longer someone they can take for granted. This is when the questions begin to creep in. Why did they leave? What did I do wrong? Can I fix this? Your absence becomes a mirror reflecting the weight of what they've lost. And with each moment they feel that loss, your value in their mind grows. But there's more to this than scarcity. Boundaries play an equally critical role. Stepping away is the ultimate act of setting boundaries. It's you declaring, I won't stay in a space where I'm not respected or appreciated. Here's the thing, boundaries will be tested. People might try to pull you back, provoke a reaction, or make you feel guilty. They might promise change or even lash out to regain control. But every time you hold firm, every time you prioritize your peace, you reinforce your power. You send a message to them and to yourself. My well-being is non-negotiable. The Stoics understood this deeply. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." When you focus on reclaiming your power, your mindset shifts. You stop obsessing over how they feel or what they think. Instead, you direct your energy inward, toward your growth, your goals, and your well-being. But let's make one thing clear. Reclaiming your power isn't about waiting for them to realize your value and come crawling back. It's about recognizing that you never needed them to validate your worth in the first place. Their response, or lack thereof, doesn't define you. The act of stepping away is about rediscovering yourself, rebuilding your confidence, and proving to yourself that you deserve more. So, what happens next? While they may be stuck in a loop of regret, questions, and longing, you're using this time to level up. You're not sitting by the phone, hoping for a change. You're growing, thriving, becoming the best version of yourself. And if they ever do come back, they'll find a person so transformed that they'll hardly recognize you. That's true power, the power of absence. Now, it's your turn to claim this transformation. Take a moment and affirm it. Drop a comment below. I reclaim my power through absence. This is your commitment to stepping back, standing tall, and never settling for less than you deserve. And if this resonates with you, hit that like button. Let's move forward together and dive deeper into how this approach plays into emotional psychology, exploring why absence leaves such a profound impact. Number 5, dark psychology. How they'll feel your absence. When you step away, when you ghost someone, you are doing more than removing yourself from their life. You're planting seeds of emotion, seeds that grow into something they can't ignore. Dark psychology shows us that absence triggers a storm of feelings: guilt, curiosity, longing, and even obsession. And here's the most intriguing part. All of it happens in their mind while you remain completely silent. Let's break it down, starting with guilt. When you disappear, the other person is left wondering why. They'll replay your last conversations and interactions, searching for answers. Even if they don't say it out loud, a part of them begins to feel guilty, questioning their actions, their words, and the way they treated you. Your silence acts like a mirror, forcing them to confront their behavior, and guilt is often the first crack in their confidence. Next comes curiosity. Humans are wired to seek closure. When we don't get it, our minds go into overdrive trying to fill the gap. They'll ask themselves, why did they leave? Was it something I did? Are they with someone else? Without answers, their thoughts spiral, and the less you reveal, the more they obsess over what they don't know. Here's the key. The less information you give, the more they begin to see you as mysterious, valuable, and worth chasing. Then there's longing. This is where the scarcity principle takes hold. As they sit with the emptiness your absence creates, they start to notice all the little things they once took for granted. Your laugh, your energy, the stability you brought into their life. These small details become magnified, and your absence amplifies their value in their mind. They begin to yearn for what they've lost. But here's the twist. The more they long for you, the more they realize they can't have you. This unavailability only intensifies their desire. It's human nature to want what we can't easily reach, and your silence transforms you into something rare, unattainable, and unforgettable. Finally, we arrive at obsession. When guilt, curiosity, and longing build up, they create an emotional storm that's hard to ignore. The person who once took you for granted now finds themselves consumed by thoughts of you. They can't escape it because your absence has become a puzzle they can't solve, a void they can't fill. And the best part, you're not lifting a finger. Your silence is doing all the work. From a Stoic perspective, this is the ultimate power move. By stepping back and holding your ground, you're not just protecting your peace. You're commanding their attention without uttering a single word. Epicurus once said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." In this situation, you're choosing to be someone who values themselves enough to walk away, and you're letting that decision speak for itself. But let's be clear, this isn't about revenge. It's about setting boundaries and showing what happens when those boundaries are crossed. You're not chasing, explaining, or justifying yourself. You're simply stepping back and letting them feel the weight of losing you. This is the power of dark psychology. It uses their own emotions to teach a lesson they won't forget. And while they're consumed by guilt, curiosity, longing, and obsession, what are you doing? You're focusing on you. You're growing, glowing, and evolving into someone who doesn't just command respect, but demands it by the way you carry yourself. If this resonates with you, take a moment to affirm your power. Drop a comment below. My absence is my strength. Let this be your declaration of control over your life. Now, let's explore what you should be doing while you're gone, because this is where the real transformation begins. Number 6. What to do while you're gone. Ghosting someone is just the first step. The true power lies in how you use your time away. This is your golden opportunity to transform, to grow, and to redefine yourself. While they're sitting in the void you left behind, wondering where you went and why, you're working on becoming someone they'll regret losing. Let's start with self-improvement. This is your time to focus on goals you've been putting off. Is there a fitness routine you've wanted to start, a skill you've been meaning to learn, or a career milestone you've been aiming for? Maybe it's as simple as finally prioritizing your own well-being. Your absence shouldn't just leave a gap in their life. It should create the space for you to thrive. Picture this. The next time they see or hear about you, they'll barely recognize the person you've become. Not because you're trying to prove anything to them, but because you've been busy proving something to yourself. Now let's talk about your mental and emotional glow-up. This isn't just about external changes. It's about building inner strength. The Stoics taught that true power comes from within. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Use this time to master your emotions. Let go of any lingering resentment and focus on cultivating peace." Build unshakable confidence, the kind that doesn't need validation from anyone. When you develop this level of self-assurance, it radiates outward. Then there's your physical presence. Like it or not, people notice when someone starts to look better, hit the gym, eat better, and refine your personal style. Not for them, but for yourself. When you take care of your body, it shows in your energy and how you carry yourself. Imagine this. One day, they'll hear about your transformation and think, how did they become even more incredible after leaving me? That's the power of focusing on you. Let's shift to your social presence. This doesn't mean using social media to flaunt your life or make them jealous. That's petty and beneath you. Instead, invest your time in building authentic connections. Meet new people, expand your network, and enrich your life with genuine relationships. Let your absence from their life be a silent reminder that you're not just moving on, you're leveling up. And the best part? You're doing it without seeking their attention. Finally, let's talk about silence. While you're working on yourself, maintain your discipline. Don't reach out to check on them. Don't respond to their attempts to provoke a reaction. Each time you stay quiet, you're reinforcing the boundary you set. You're showing them, and yourself, that your focus is on what truly matters: your growth, your goals, and your future. This strategy isn't about them. It's about you. It's about stepping into your power and becoming the best version of yourself. When you focus on your transformation, you're no longer waiting for their recognition or validation. You're giving yourself everything you once sought from them, and that's where your real strength lies. Take a moment to affirm this shift. Drop a comment below that says, "I glow up in silence." Let this be your reminder that your absence isn't a punishment for them. It's a gift to yourself. Now, let's talk about what comes next. When they inevitably try to come back, you'll be ready to handle it with grace, strength, and clarity. Stay tuned. Number 7. The inevitable comeback. What happens next? Here's the truth about ghosting. It leaves an impact. When someone feels the weight of your absence, there's one thing you can almost always count on. They'll come back. Maybe not right away, maybe not in the way you expect, but eventually they'll find a reason to reappear. The question is, are you ready for it? When they do reach out, it's usually subtle at first. A simple text, a comment on one of your posts, or a random like on a photo from months ago. Why? Because they're testing the waters. They want to know if the door they once took for granted is still open. This is where your discipline is tested. Do you respond, or do you stay silent? Remember, their comeback isn't about them. It's about you. It's your opportunity to decide whether they still deserve a place in your life. But first, let's take a step back and understand why this happens. When you ghost someone, you create a mystery. Dark psychology tells us that humans are naturally drawn to what they can't figure out. Your silence has created a void in their mind, a void they can't help but try to fill. That desperation, that need for closure or validation is what drives them back. But here's the thing, you're no longer the same person they once knew. In your time away, you've grown, transformed, and elevated yourself. You've reached a point where their presence in your life is no longer necessary. So, how do you handle it when they finally reach out? First, don't let their reappearance shake your peace. Remember the Stoic principle. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Their return doesn't mean you owe them anything, not an explanation, not forgiveness. and certainly not access to the life you've rebuilt in their absence. If you choose to respond, do it from a place of strength, not emotion. Keep your response short, neutral, and focused on maintaining your boundaries. For example, you might say something like, "I hope you're doing well. I've been focusing on myself and my goals." This sends a clear message. You've moved on, and you're no longer the same person they once took for granted. Your growth speaks for itself. If their intentions are genuine, they'll respect the boundaries you've set. If they're trying to manipulate their way back into your life, maintaining those boundaries will make it clear that you're no longer open to that dynamic. On the other hand, if you choose not to respond, that silence is equally powerful. By refusing to engage, you reinforce your value and show them that you're not willing to revisit the past. The most important thing to remember is this: their comeback doesn't validate you. You've already validated yourself by walking away and becoming the person you are now. Their return is a reflection of what they've lost, not of your worth. So, when the inevitable comeback happens, handle it with grace. Let your actions and growth speak louder than any words. Stay calm, stay grounded, and above all, stay focused on your path forward. Take a moment to claim this power for yourself. Drop a comment below. "I rise above the past." Let this be your declaration of strength and resilience in the face of their return. Now, let's move on to the final and most crucial part of this strategy: empowering yourself to stay ghosted and remain in full control of your journey. Number 8. Empowering yourself to stay ghosted. Walking away is one thing, but staying away, that's where the real challenge lies. The hardest part of ghosting isn't taking the first step. It's resisting the urge to break the silence. It's holding yourself back from checking in, wondering if they've noticed your absence or if they're thinking about you too. This is where your discipline is tested, and it's also where your power lies. Staying ghosted isn't just about them. It's about you reclaiming your energy, protecting your peace, and prioritizing your self-respect. Why is it so tempting to reach out? Because silence can feel uncomfortable. You might wonder, have they moved on? Are they hurting like I am? Have they forgotten me entirely? But here's the truth. Breaking the silence only hands back the control you've worked so hard to take. When you reach out, what you're really saying is, your opinion of me still matters more than my own. That's the opposite of empowerment. The Stoics believed that true freedom comes from mastering your emotions. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Staying ghosted is an act of emotional mastery. It's about choosing peace over chaos, self-respect over fleeting validation, and growth over stagnation. Every time you resist the urge to reach out, you're proving to yourself that you don't need anyone else's approval to feel whole. You're reinforcing your independence and building unshakable strength. But what about closure? That's the reason many people break their silence. They're looking for answers, an apology, or a sense of resolution. Let me tell you something. Closure isn't something you get from someone else. It's something you give yourself. The moment you chose to walk away, you gave yourself closure. You decided that your peace, your boundaries, and your well-being were worth more than anything they could say or do. You don't need their words to validate your decision. You've already moved on. So, how do you empower yourself to stay ghosted? 1. Stay focused on your Why? Remember why you left. Think about the boundaries you set and the person you're becoming. Write it down if you need to. When the urge to reach out strikes, revisit your reasons and remind yourself of how far you've come. Consider what's at stake if you go back. 2. Redirect your energy. Instead of obsessing over what they might be thinking or doing, channel that energy into yourself. Pour it into your goals, your passions, and your self-improvement. Become the version of yourself that no longer needs their validation. 3. Surround yourself with support. Silence doesn't mean isolation. Lean on the people who uplift you, friends, mentors, or even this community. Talk to those who remind you of your worth and keep you grounded. You don't have to go through this alone. 4. Trust the process. Both dark psychology and Stoicism teach us that silence is a long game. The effects of your absence may not be immediate, but they are profound. Trust that by staying ghosted, you're not just teaching them a lesson, you're transforming yourself. Take a moment to affirm your commitment to this journey. Drop a comment below. I am stronger in silence. Let this be your promise to yourself, a reminder of your power and discipline. Staying ghosted is about more than avoiding someone. It's about reclaiming your peace, your power, and your purpose. Stay disciplined, stay focused, and most importantly, stay true to yourself. Now, let's move to the final part of this journey, your call to action and closing thoughts. We'll bring everything together with an empowering reminder to carry forward. You've made it this far, and that speaks volumes about who you are. You're not here just to learn a strategy, you're here to reclaim control of your life. Ghosting someone isn't just about going silent. It's about reclaiming your power, protecting your peace, and putting your growth first. It's about stepping away from what no longer serves you and stepping into the person you've always had the potential to be. Let's take a moment to recap. Your absence is more than just a lack of presence. It's a message. It communicates everything you need to say without uttering a single word. It forces them to reflect on their behavior, their losses, and their regrets, while you focus on your transformation. Your silence isn't a punishment for them. It's a gift to yourself, a gift of clarity, strength, and freedom. But the journey doesn't stop here. Staying ghosted, remaining disciplined, and focusing on your own growth require consistent effort. It's not always easy, but that's precisely why it's so powerful. Every time you resist the temptation to engage, you're making a profound choice. You're choosing yourself. You're choosing growth over stagnation, peace over chaos, and strength over weakness. This choice is what sets the extraordinary apart from the ordinary. As we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final thought. The best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's living a life so full, so aligned with your purpose, and so deeply satisfying that those who once underestimated you can't help but feel your absence. That's the essence of true power. This is what it means to be stoic, disciplined, and unshakable. Now, let's make this official. If this resonates with you and you're ready to embrace silence as your strength, drop a comment below. My silence is my power. Let's make this declaration together as a community of people committed to growth, self-respect, and purpose. And before you go, don't forget to like this video. It's your first step toward reclaiming control of your life. If you found value here, subscribe to the Stoic Spirit for more content designed to empower, uplift, and sharpen your mindset. Turn on notifications so you never miss a chance to grow stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Thank you for spending your time with me today. Remember, your silence isn't just the absence of words, it's the presence of self-respect, discipline, and undeniable strength. Stay focused, stay stoic, stay blessed. I'll see you in the next one.